Right. Penis. Hey, how's it going, man? How you doing? Long time no see. Luvian, how's it going? You by chance heard of the Zombie Knight Saga? I don't think so. Is that a... I have no fucking idea what that is. No. Speak. R-A-E. Let's go! Very well written novel on Railroad. Oh, cool. Gil, Sid, how's it going, guys? Good, just wondering, are morning streams regular? No, Luvian, I was just off work yesterday and today. So just these 2 days, and then from tomorrow we're back to afternoon streams. Oh, again, afternoon for me, fucking everything for you guys. And then obviously weekends will still be like morning streams. Why, yes, dear. Dear? We... Dummy? Sucker? Secret? Heaven? Here? My goodness. Yay, let's go. Dummy. Lolly. Hollywood. Dupe. Got duped. A sucker. A dummy. And... candy. Lollipop. Sweet. Sucker. Let's go. Yo, good shit. I thought it was not happening. What was not happening? Yeah, sorry, I was supposed to go live like a half hour ago, but it's been snowing a shit ton where I am right now. So I just had to go clean the driveway real quick before I started. Like, since the morning, I think it's snowed probably like I don't know, 7 or 8 cents, like about this much. It snowed, like it's fucking, and it's like packing snow, which means it's like really, really dense and shit. Yo, there's 3 ads on YouTube now. Based, you know, I need that ad revenue. True. Use Brave. Eh? It's diabolical. Plague, how's it going, man? How you doing? Chris, how's it going, man? I couldn't skip. Oh, 3 unskippable. Okay, that's actually diabolical. That is fucking diabolical. Okay, that's bad. Yes. Copy. Fake, dupe, dummy, copy. Okay, year, yellow, Y, yes. What the fuck would... There's a Y in each of them. There's nothing else. What Y might mean? Oh my god, the Y was the answer. The Y was the answer all along. Oh. Lexicon. Chairman, leader. Definition, meaning. Meaning, purpose. Purpose, leader, vision. Vision, leader, visionary. God damn. Very efficient. No worries, Luvian. Appreciate you popping by, buddy. God damn, that was... Listen, I've done Wordle in 3 today, got connections, did Lexicon that quick, alright? With no help today, I will add. Based. So unless he wants to retreat, but yeah. This is quite the pickle. Let's go not here, because then he... Wow, this... Cringe. This is so cringe. My position is so dog shit. And up this here. It has to take, otherwise it take the knight. Here. Bullshit. Here. He moves this like here or something, because he has to... This. Like, yeah, you get 3 pawns for a bishop, I guess, technically fair trade, but I don't like that trade. I don't want to make that trade. We can go up here, check. How's everyone doing this fine Tuesday afternoon? We're even in, like, value, but I'm actually really bad at chess now. What in the fuck? Like, I'm actually, like, 500 rated. I need to actually start playing in my off time. This is embarrassing. Here. Eating. Does Canada have Chick-fil-A, by the way? Yes, we do. Chick-fil-A is not as commonplace as it is in the States. It's like, it's more of like, hey, certain cities will have it and stuff. But like, there's a city like the city that I live in does have one, which is nice. Oh, you're sick? Oh, sorry to hear that, bud. Other than being dead tired, I'm alright. How are you? Good. I mean, I too am a little bit. Fuck me. I too am a little bit tired, but I feel okay. I really, you think the ending, you think the starting of the volume is really slow? Interesting. I do not share that opinion. Sorry, give me 1 second, guys. Back. Oh, that is true, Plague. I do need to do that. Ah, shit. I will do that in just 1 second. Yeah, sorry. Oh, my dad just popped in. He just needed something. If I go here, then he goes here, and I'm kind of stuck. And then I have to abandon this defense, then I get kind of cooked. So I just come back here for now. Then I come here to take this. Threaten this, so he has to come back here. here for a quick second. He probably comes over here, but then I have to come back. Oh, it's so cringe. Yes, people say Lord of the Mysteries 1 star was slow, but I prefer it over 2. Really? I have preferred it. It's been definitely slow relative to like other like high other like Lord of the Mysteries volumes, like, you know, volume 6 and 7 and whatever. But I haven't found it slow compared to volume 1. That kind of feels like a crazy claim to me. I don't know. Am I in the minority on that? Great, lovely. Here. Nice, got him. Oh, I got him. Oh, I got him. Now, technically, I might win by time, but I did just beat him, okay? I did beat him. Oh, alright, good work. I think Volume 1 COI is faster than Volume... Yeah, I think so. Like, Volume 1 of Lord of the Mysteries was very slow for me. I liked it, I want to be really clear, but it was slow as shit. Oh, COI's peak is just as slow at the beginning? Different people have different opinions on that, Noisette. I've heard a lot of people say that they don't like, that they don't like the ending of COI or something, but I mean, honestly, without being there myself, I can't speak to that, so I don't know. COI is a peak. Yeah, exactly. See what I mean? Sorry, let me, alright, we're gonna start reading in just 1 second. I'm just gonna change the title of the last stream because we ended on a different chapter that I have it listed at. 65, save. Alright, let's go. I don't know how to describe it. With Lord of the Mysteries Volume 1, it was more interesting of like a watch, especially since every chapter gave a lot more to Theorycraft. That is probably true, like that I'll probably grant you, but that was more due to the fact that there was so much about the world that we didn't know, right? Whereas now, it feels like you're coming into this world knowing so much more, so your scope is more limited, if that makes sense, because there's less to Theorycraft, because it's like you know a lot more, so there's a lot less theories. Now, I still feel like they've given us a lot here, like the fucking new sequences, like what the fuck is any of this? What? So it's a lot, but I get why, like, relative to like Lord of the Mysteries, it's smaller in scope for sure. Alright, chapter 66, Crib. Yeah, exactly. Like, the new sequences, it was like, whoa, what? Like, Fours mentioned that, like, oh, Madame is from, like, unique sequence or whatever, and I just thought that meant like one of the like Mother Goddess of Depravity ones or whatever, like the like the Demoness one or whatever. But then I was like, but if that was the case, Hunter would also be kind of special. Chapter 66. Leia gazed at the man in the photo, lost in thought. After receiving the request for help, we set off 2 days later to gather the information, she said. Madame Polly's full name is Polly de Roquefort, isn't it? We investigated the Roquefort family in Darriege and found no trace of a Polly. In Intes, a woman could choose to keep her maiden name after getting married, if there was a day in the name. It meant that she was once a noble. The Intas meaning of day was from, and the surname behind it was the fiefdom of the time. Probably Day Rockfort. I see. Okay. And Ryan nodded. In Derry Edge, Rockfort is a large family with many members, including a provincial senator. We were in a hurry and didn't have time to conduct a more detailed investigation. We could only confirm there was no... Alright, no worries, Awareness. I appreciate you popping by, buddy. We were in a hurry and didn't have time to conduct a more thorough investigation. We could only confirm there was no person such as Polly, but a man named Pullet who had been missing for over a year. Pullet? What's his relationship with Madame Polly? They look quite alike. With enough information, it's impossible to make a guess. What we do know is that Pullet de Roquefort was quite a popular dandy in Trier and had many illegitimate children. Many people hated and detested him, which is likely why he had no choice but to leave, or was forced to leave. Dandyism? Lumion was unfamiliar with the term. Aurora subscribed to magazines and newspapers targeted towards women or focused on national affairs. There were some materials on the supernatural, but none involved male matters. Leia chuckled. To put it simply, it's a Casanova who dresses fashionably, speaks elegantly, and acts freely. Lumion sighed. The people of Trier sure know how to live life. They packaged their affairs as a thought, a doctrine, and a trend. When it came to cheating, Trier was at the forefront, the padre in front of the Triers. He was still a child. In the past year, Trier had constructed numerous arcades, Aurora remarked, while sipping her black tea, regaling Madame Polly, Naziel, and the others. What's an arcade? It's a covered street with glass roofing and marble flooring, elegant and stunning shop lines on both sides. During the day, lights filter in from above, and at night, gas lamps illuminate the area. Carriages are forbidden. The most renowned arcade is called the Opera House Arcade. Madame Polly, while holding her white porcelain cup filled with black tea, watched Aurora with her bright brown eyes, listening intently. That sounds like something I must see, Naziel sighed. Aurora's knowledge of the latest Intas trends was a primary reason why they had accepted the afternoon tea. After chatting for a while, the discussion turned to Aurora's work and relationships. Love is so unfathomable and elusive, Madame Polly mused. So this is why you fell in love with so many men at the same time? Aurora couldn't help but criticize inwardly. Damn. Sometimes I get so angry because of his mistakes, Madame Polly sighed. I wish I could kill him and send him to death, but when he's actually facing death, I can't help but save him and refuse to tell him. Perhaps that is true love. In the master bedroom of the administrator's residence, Madame Polly may once have fallen in love with Pullet, a believer in dandyism. Nah, brother, they're one and the same. And engaged in a forbidden relationship, resulting in her disavowal of her family. She then had to marry someone and use her family's connections to secure the administrative position in Cordoue for him. Lumion deduced this based on the story and the tropes written by his sister. This explained why the administrator's standing in the family was quite low. Perhaps, Ryan said. Keep searching, but don't attempt to open any safe or anything that may trigger an alarm. Lumion had his companions dispersed immediately and searched elsewhere. Despite the hunter's ability to observe subtle traces, Lumion still found nothing. I feel like if you were a transmigrator and the only thing you cared about was like living a good life and just living like a lavish life, I think in that sense, Roselle chose the right pathway. I think if you just wanted to be like, hey, I don't like care about becoming a god or like becoming whatever. I just want to be like rich and be chilling. You become a savant because like your memories would know of like tech and stuff and like more modern technology. Even if you don't understand like the mechanisms behind them, the savant pathway would help you be able to reverse engineer them, so to speak. So you can make like a shit ton of money as like an inventor and then just live out your days chilling, you know? Like you don't have to be high as a sequence. Like even like sequence 7 or 6, I would assume would get you like chilling. This would also be true. I would also be royally pissed if Roselle just copied everything before me. But I mean, there's still plenty of stuff you could do. Like the amount of upgrades you could do to like vehicles and stuff would make you like nigh on the richest man on the planet. So It's not like there's nothing, but like I feel like as you get to like once you get to sequence 6, Artesian can produce machinery wonders. That's it. Like you don't really need to go any higher. You're just chilling. And like sequence 6 is like if you know of the acting method, that just doesn't take that long. Klein got to sequence 6 in like what, 6 months? Maybe? Like, yeah, this shit was fucking quick. Hi Dr. Z, how's it going? Ryan, who had almost finished searching the solarium. Oh, wait. Despite his hunter's ability to observe subtle traces, Lumion found nothing. They had no choice but to move to the study and search patiently. Okay, Plague, all I'm gonna say is every fucking transmigrator we know of knows of the acting method, okay? Fucking Aurora knows of it. She's in sequence 7. She's like nobody. Everyone knows of it. That's a transmigrator, I want to be clear. That's a transmigrator. Big caveat. As time passed, the four of them arrived at the end of the corridor, where a closed room stood opposite an open solarium. Beside, it was a staircase leading to one of the towers. Sequence 3 is a sweet spot in my opinion. But then at that point, Gil, if you're that high, wouldn't you want to get to 2 just to be an angel so that you can know of like the cosmos and shit? Like, wouldn't you want to do 3 at that point instead of 2? She's a mystery prior. She knows more than the other sequence 7s. Maybe. Alright. I will also say, it is, for a transmigrator, it also puts into perspective how fucking strong Klein is, right? Within a year, wasn't Klein basically a sequence 3, 2? Like, he might have even just been, I don't know. All of Lord of the Mysteries, I think, lasted a little over a year, right? No, actually, I might be getting that wrong. 5? Was he 5? And it was sequence 4? It might have been a 4. I don't think it was 5 Doctors. I think 4 sounds more accurate. Am I wrong? This is so cooked. After having read an entire fucking book, I can't even look up the fucking wiki on it. This is so cringe. Oh my god. Whatever. Right? And Aurora has been here for like 5 years or something. Because like she brought Lumion home like 5 years ago or something, they mentioned. And Aurora's in sequence 7. Which just like puts in her perspective. Like, hey, I was a transmigrator. I had some help and shit. But like, I'm still goated and woted. He did also have Sephira Castle. Yes, obviously. Orion, who had finished searching the solarium, turned to Leia. Leia touched the small bells hanging from her veil, mumbling to herself. This time, the 4 bells did not ring. Leia heaved a sigh of relief and pushed open a wooden door in front of her. It was an empty room with a rocking crib in the middle. The crib was made of brown wood and installed inside a wooden frame. It was covered in clean but slightly worn cotton swaddling cloth that showed its age. The crib was empty. This was the nursery where Madame Polly's 2 children had once slept. Apart from the bed, there were no toys in the room. Scattered on the ground were wheat, barley, rice, wheat, and other plants, making it look rather strange. I don't know why it said wheat twice, no fucking clue. Valentine's body glowed as it entered the room and circled around. June 28th to sometime in 52? I mean, that makes sense, because like in the end of the volumes, we started getting quite a few like time skips and stuff. But like up until like probably volume 5, maybe even 6, it was like not that long. And then volume maybe 6, 7, and 8, there were quite a few time skips that happened, I know, so. Furthermore, these plants were well preserved, as if they had only been brought in a few days ago. Valentine's body glowed as he entered the room and circled around. Soon he returned to the door and shook his head. There's no evil aura. Alright, Leia said to Lumion. Shall we head to the next tower? Lumion had always been curious about the castle's towers. He never expected to have a chance to visit them. Valentine left this strange nursery. Ryan grabbed the handle and planned to close the door to restore it to its original state. But at this moment, Lumion's gaze drifted inwards. The brown wooden crib swayed gently, yet the tightly shut window of the room and the solarium opposite, with their floor-to-ceiling panes, allowed no breeze to enter. What? Lumion's pupils dilated. Leia noticed his distress and turned to look. He did also get help from possibly the most goated and woaded deity of all time. Weird. The crib continued to sway as though an invisible baby lay within. And Leia raised her hand to her glabella, as if to ease her tired eyes. I wasn't talking about Cuddlefish. I wasn't talking about... Fuck me, dude, Cuddlefish. I wasn't talking about Celestial Worthy. I was talking about the goddess. Okay, that's who I was referring to. Hold on. But the Celestial Worthy is also kind of goated, though. Say what you want. He may not be my goat, but he's definitely goated, dude. To be a fucking pillar of the universe is so goated behavior. Excuse me? She readied herself to activate her spirit vision and see what lay inside the crib. Suddenly, the 4 small bells on her veil and boots jingled, as if they were about to burst. Ryan's face froze as he yelled, "Get out of here!" With that, he dashed into the solarium, crashing through the floor-to-ceiling window in an attempt to create a path of escape. Bang! A loud thud echoed throughout the room as Ryan hit the window, yet there was no sound of glass shattering. The transparent faces of young children appeared on the rows of windows. Some of them were mere infants, with inexplicably terrifying faces. As Ryan bumped into them, they opened their mouths in unison and let out a haunting wail. You understood why the... I assume the bells jingling is like a positive confirmation of like a divination. So, like, earlier when she did like, oh, she probably did like a divination before entering the room, like, hey, is there any danger here? And it probably said no. But then when she tried to activate her spirit vision or whatever, they jingled like, hey, there's a lot of danger, don't fucking look here. And that's why everyone was like, fucking run! Every man for themselves! Their cries echoed through the 3rd floor of the castle, casting an eerie gloom over the entire area. The walls and glass were adorned with the translucent faces of children, some wailing while others stared blankly at Lumion, Leia, Valentine, and Ryan. Lumion shuddered with fear as he felt their cold gaze upon him. Suddenly, Valentine's body was engulfed in a dark golden light which had spread to envelop Lumion, Leia, and himself. A warm sensation spread throughout Lumion's body, dispelling his fear and filling him with courage. He drew his iron-black axe with newfound confidence. Suddenly, Ryan seemed to grow taller and more imposing. Dawn-like rays of light surrounded him, coalescing into a silver-white full-body armor and a massive broadsword of light. Eh? Is he from the giant pathway? But the glass... Sorry. With a mighty swing, Ryan cleaved at the floor-to-ceiling windows, dispersing the pale white faces of the children into smoke as they screamed. But the glass didn't break, and more faces appeared, and their shrill cries tormenting Lumion and his companions. So one is of the Bard pathway, one is of the Giant pathway, and one is of the Seer pathway, I guess? I wish I could watch the live, but this week is just filled with exams, and tomorrow I have the last exam. It's physics. No worries, Loop. Go study for your exams, buddy. Don't even sweat it. You can go watch the you can watch the VODs later. You're good, man. Go study. Good luck on your exams. You're gonna do fine. Don't stress about it. Just study hard. You'll be good. Good lad. But the glass didn't break and more faces appeared. Who dares to trespass the castle? A woman's voice boomed, echoing through the halls. Almost immediately, Lumion spotted a figure on the other side of the corridor, standing on the second floor. She was a middle-aged woman with brown hair and eyes. She was rather good-looking without any wrinkles. She was the midwife who had helped Louis Lund's delivery. In her hand, she held a pair of enormous scissors that could decapitate a human while donning a grayish-white gown, as if she had just returned from pruning a branch in the garden. She glared at Lumion and his companions in a deep voice. "You deserve to die." In the subterranean, two-story abode, Madame Polly jolted suddenly, and her countenance altered. She delicately placed the porcelain teacup on the table and smiled. "My apologies. I've just recollected an urgent matter that requires my immediate attention at home." Yeah? Aurora was shocked. Polly rose from her seat and filled with regret. "I had intended to stay and discuss your work and its beautiful and poignant portrayal of love." Aurora responded quickly. "Please, you're more than welcomed." "I unfortunately cannot. It concerns my children," Madame Polly said. I don't know, it's not like Intis used to have a god of combat behind it? Yeah, no, of course not. It's not like that god of combat got fucking backstabbed and get fucking rolled, loser. Valentine caught sight of the woman in the grayish-white dress. His eyes brimmed with hatred as he stretched his arms as if embracing the sun. A blinding pair of light descended from the sky and struck the target, clutching the enormous scissors. The surrounding burst into light in an instant. The transparent faces on the wall and the glass vanished before they could even scream. The woman's body had clearly caught fire and was evaporating, but it suddenly vanished. Lumion found this scene eerily familiar. The mouth orifice monster had displayed similar behavior when he was hunting it. Invisibility. The woman might not have concealed herself, but she certainly wasn't dead, thus Lumion didn't feel any relief. Instead, he approached Ryan, who was now towering over him. Now, covered in silver armor and wielding a broadsword of light, Ryan was the person Lumion trusted most among those present. "Devil, how's it going, man? You get your GPU? Or no? Probably coming sometime later today?" Ryan covered in... wait. It was evident. Yeah, graphic card's working? Let's go! Let's fucking go! It was evident that Ryan was excellent at combat. Leia stood there while suddenly the face of a pale child emerged on the wall behind her, transforming into the woman in the grayish-white dress. The woman's enormous scissors clamped down on Leia's neck. Crack! Leia's head dropped, but no blood spurted forth. Her body and head swiftly shriveled and thinned, transforming into a ragged paper effigy that landed softly. She is a seer. She's a magician, because that's a paper figurine substitute. I had to reattach the powering cable? Why? What the fuck? What did you do? No, did they break this one too, almost? Not far away, her silhouette, donning a pleated cashmere dress, outlined itself. With a clang, Ryan, his face concealed by the silver visor, hoisted the Sword of Dawn and strode towards the spot where Leia had stood, sweeping the weapon diagonally at the woman. No, Plague, I did guess because of that she was a clown. I didn't expect her to be a Sequence 7. It's such a bad connector. Oh, I see. Oh, I see what you mean. Oh, okay. With a clang, Ryan, his face concealed by a silver visor, hoisted the Sword of Dawn and strode towards the spot Leia stood, sweeping the weapon diagonally at the woman. The woman brandished her scissors in an attempt to block, but was pushed back into the wall by the sheer force of the blow. Her form vanished once again. As Valentine, clad in a thin blue tweed jacket, stood on the back, turned, the woman suddenly replaced the swollen and pallid visage. Yeah, but I didn't figure that at least that sequence 7 was gonna be a fucking, was gonna be Leia. I thought that was gonna be, fucking Ryan. As she leaned out and struck the nape of Valentine's neck. "Look out!" Leia cried as she spotted the woman, alerting her companions. Valentine snorted and crossed her arms. Golden, illusory flames burst forth from the void surrounding him, intertwining and transforming into the corridor of an ocean pulsating with the radiance of the sun. The woman winced in agony as her body was consumed by the intense flames. She retreated back into the interior of the walls, retreating into the swollen, pallid face. The translucent face melted instantly into wisps of black gas and the golden illusory flames before dissipating. Ryan's Sword of Dawn struck the same spot again, causing the entire castle to tremble. Despite his efforts, he was too late to stop the woman. Lumion grasped the gravity of the situation. The Lumion who had delivered Louis's baby was linked to the transparent faces of the children on the wall. Not only could she transform into them, but she could also transform into a ghost form, attacking and deflecting damage. Evading attacks and deflecting damage. In other words, she could attack from any glass or wall on the 3rd floor of the castle at any time. Their counterattacks were useless. Within this realization, Lumion immediately distanced himself from the floor-to-ceiling windows and the surrounding walls, and walked to the middle of the solarium. At that moment, faces appeared on the ceiling and the ground. The woman emerged from behind Lumion's feet and reached for his thigh with a pair of scissors. Lumion's heart immediately began to race. Without bothering to confirm where the attack was coming from, he jumped into the air and dodged to the side. Despite his efforts, he was a little too slow. A deep gash was left on the lower part of his thigh, and blood gushed out. As soon as the drops of blood landed, the woman who had switched spots pointed at them as they condensed into a thin blood-colored figure. Without any hesitation, the blood-colored figure turned to Lumion, who had rolled into the recliner and pounced at him, feeding on his blood and growing stronger with each step. At the same time, Lumion endured intense pain and felt his blood running out of control. Almost instantly, Ryan jumped in. In midair, he held the broadsword of light high and slashed down at the blood-colored figure, pinning it to the ground and shattering it with the transparent faces around him. Leia somersaulted to Lumion's side and pressed her right hand on the thigh wound. To Lumion's surprise, the wound magically moved to Leia's right palm, all the way down to the left side of her calf, which wasn't rich in blood vessels. Very good. Wound transfer? Wound transfer, I think? The bleeding ceased almost immediately. The woman suddenly appeared from her Dude, Leia's so fucking nice, by the way. She could have just transferred it to his palm and whatever, but she didn't. She took it on herself because she was like, I'm stronger than he is, it'll hurt him more. Magician, yeah. The woman suddenly appeared from the ceiling. Her brown eyes burned with a blazing life. The blood dripped from Lumion's calf and was ignited, producing a bright flame that resembled the spring sun. It quickly spread into the wound and into the blood vessels in his body. At that moment, Lumion felt his life rapidly fading away. The blood dripping from his... This is like a demoness thing, no? This is like a... like the thing that Sharon tried to do to Leonard before he threw away his fucking... like the nail or whatever? In the morning light, the remaining blood-colored figure quickly With a pop, Ryan stabbed the two-handed broadsword condensed from light into the ground. Around him, the area where Lumion and Leia were, the rays of dawn-like light appeared, filling all the space. In the morning light, the remaining blood-colored figures quickly melted, and the bright and beautiful flames on Lumion's calf extinguished. The second of burning had sealed his wounds together, stopping the bleeding. This environment is unstable. We must depart at once. What he really meant was that the woman was not nearly as powerful as she appeared. She was almost invincible and impossible to target due to the unique conditions on the third floor of the castle that increased her abilities greatly. That was a typo. The wound was moved to Lumien's calf. Ah, what a bitch. I'm just kidding. Without waiting for his companions to react, Ryan charged after the woman. Although he was still slightly lower than his opponent, who could move with the aid of the translucent faces, he spared no efforts and attacked with powerful slashes, diagonal cuts, and stabs, forcing his adversary to constantly be on the move. Together with the holy light summoned by Valentine and the golden flame he conjured, the two of them managed to temporarily subdue the woman, thus preventing Leia and Lumien from being harmed. Why would she trust a random Beyonder? Because they're all gonna die regardless at this point, just have some faith. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Leia leapt onto the armchair and dashed back and forth across the sofa, tables, recliners, and ornaments, making sure to avoid touching the ground. Throughout this process, the silver bells on her veil and boots chimed incessantly. Lumien no longer felt safe on the ground. He climbed onto the table and scanned the ceiling above and the floor below, analyzing Leia's movements. Drawing from his previous experience, he deduced the route the woman was using to escape. Soon, Leia ceased her movements. "To the tower! Quickly!" Just as she finished speaking, the woman thrust her head out of the ceiling and barked, "You bastards!" Each word was enunciated with precision, causing everyone's heart to race, their heads to spin, and their vision to blur. Valentine endured the discomfort and stretched his arms once more. A brilliant, pristine light flooded the ceiling. "Let's move," Ryan commanded. Lumien immediately leapt off the table, enduring the pain in his calf. Stepping onto the transparent faces, he raced to the tower with Valentine and Leia close behind. Only Ryan, covered in armor, wasn't in a rush to escape. He lifted the Sword of Dawn and sliced at the woman who poked her head out, preventing her from stopping his companions. After Leia and the others ascended to the tower, he turned around and gave chase with a leap. The woman emerged from the transparent faces on the side wall and screamed. Accompanied by the scream, a layer of black, malevolent flames ignited on the surface of Ryan's armor. Malevolent? Malevola? My queen. Ryan immediately felt his stamina depleting. Without hesitation, he deactivated the Dawn armor. Spots of light resembling the morning sun scattered in all directions, along with the black flames dissipating into the air. Holding the broadsword of light, Ryan took the opportunity to leap and depart from the castle's third floor, entering the stairs. Bye, Noizad. Appreciate you popping by, buddy. At this moment, Lumien, aware that he was a little weak and unable to make use of the environment, ran in second place. Ahead of him was Leia, whose silver bells were ringing softly. Leia came to a halt. Lumien hastily slowed down as well. He looked around and was taken aback. The tower wasn't large and could even be considered small. The walls were densely packed with children. They were dressed in different clothes. Some appeared to have just been born, while others were 3 or 4 years old, their limbs resembling the bird claws with unnaturally sharp tips. Using their bird claws, these children were like birds of the forest, perching on the wall and occupying most of the area. What in the fuck is this? Because some of the things that they seemed to do were definitely Demoness pathway-like. You know, the curses setting blood aflame, you know, saying like, "You damn bastards," causing everyone to like spin out and lose their vision or whatever. But then, like, what in the fuck is this pathway? Lumien's scalp tingled as he saw over 100 human faces of children, their bodies, and wicked, sharp bird claws combined with an abnormal perching method. This is so disgusting. He once again felt as though his mind, eyes, and soul had been corrupted. The children had not yet noticed the intrusion. A number of them were happily discussing different topics. The sky is so blue. I want to go outside. No way. Mummy said that we must be able to retract our claws and be like normal people before we can go out. At that moment, Ryan caught up to 3 of the children and said, "Stay away!" He then turned around and barricaded the entrance of the tower like a giant, holding the Sword of Dawn in his hand. Leia and the others didn't inquire why. They ran frantically and found stairs and the other obstacles to hide behind. Although Lumion didn't understand, his instincts told him to follow the orders. "All of you, come down here!" The woman's sharp voice reverberated. Each word drilled into Lumion and his companions' ears, weakening them. Immediately after, the woman in the grayish-white dress appeared in the corner of the staircase. The entire tower was filled with the aura of life, and no pale faces were visible. Maybe it's the dancer pathway? It doesn't feel like it, because dancer, alms monk, none of that would suggest to me fucking, giving birth to babies and doing random disgusting shit. I don't know. Dancer, alms monk, contractee? This definitely seems like it would be like a pathway that would be like similar to like Planter or something, like something from the Earth Mother, because like fertility and stuff is her domain, right? So something belonging to the Mother Goddess of Depravity as well. I don't know, something else. I mean, yeah, obviously we don't know. There's a lot we don't know, so could be. Chapter 68, Purification. Upon seeing that Ryan was blocking the entrance of the tower and the Sword of Dawn, the woman in the grayish-white dress felt a sense of foreboding. She swiftly turned the enormous scissors around, clamped them around her neck, and pulled gently. A vivid red stream of blood gushed out, accompanying her sharp cries, and blood flowed in every direction as if it had a life of its own, enveloping her whole body. It was as though the woman had adorned herself with blood-colored body armor. Meanwhile, Ryan held the Sword of Dawn in reverse with both hands and genuflected. With a pop, he stabbed the two-handed broadsword, which was condensed from light, into the stone floor. The sword disintegrated, transforming into specks of light resembling the morning sun. They were densely packed and innumerable, forming a flickering and violent hurricane. Wherever the hurricane of light passed, the stone floor was shaved thin. Some of the steps were flattened, and exaggerated cracks appeared. The woman is engulfed before she could dodge. The blood-colored armor on her body lasted for a second before it shattered, melting into the light. Yo, goated behavior? Evil warrior pathway? True. The opposite. The cracks expanded and instantly turned into a hideous wound that cut through the woman. As her screams reverberated, her body crumbled into pieces of flesh. The pieces of flesh and her spirit were still being ravaged by the storms of light until the hurricane subsided. The flesh was ground and the spirit dissipated. Although Ryan tried his best to prevent the hurricane of light from implicating the others, she was still too weak to control it. He destroyed a large swath of the walls on the side and the hurricanes behind him. If Lumion, Leia, and the others hadn't found cover in advance, they would have more or less been injured. What? The bird-clawed children who were climbing the wall were frightened and cried out. Lumion and the others' ears buzzed as if they had suffered a noise attack. "Let's go!" Ryan turned around and slammed into the most damaged wall nearby. The wall shattered and a large number of rocks fell. A huge hole that humans could crawl through appeared. When Valentine and Lumion ran over, Ryan grabbed each of them with one hand and jumped from a height of more than 10 meters to a tree outside the castle. In midair, he kicked the tree and flew diagonally from the castle. You're telling me this mother... Hold on. Gotta pull out the paint for... Gotta pull out the MS Paint for this one. So you're telling me these guys are in the castle, okay? They're all standing over here. Imagine this is 4 people, because I'm not drawing 4 of them, okay? And they're like jumping down to a tree over here. Lovely trees, okay? So they jump over here. Midair, this motherfucker kicks the tree. And then they go back and they go like down here. And they land softly. And he's like nailed. Holding 2 people, 3 people in his arms. What are we talking about? That might be the most absurd thing we've seen in this series. What? Am I the only one feeling bad for the children on the wall? Yes. I don't care. No, I don't care. They chose that life. How did they choose that life? I don't know. Do I care? No, not even at all. I don't care. They didn't experience life? Well, they would if they could learn to contract their stupid claws, get it together. Get it? They're inherently evil. True. True. Plague, my go. They're inherently evil. Fuck them. Alright, I gotta change the... This is very, This is very much fight music, and there's no fight happening. No, actually, you know what? It's been a while since we've listened to Persona music. We only listened to it very briefly for the Persona chapter. Music. Leia descended on her own with the protrusion of the castle's walls to descend rapidly, landing on the ground in a breath or 2. You saw the trio official Beyonder artwork on Discord? I don't think so, Sid. Even evil children should experience life? Disagree. Depends how evil, but probably disagree. No worries, Bunny. I think we're only like 2 chapters in. You're not that bad. No worries, man. How's it going? Check them out after you finish the chapter? Yeah, will do, Sid. Thanks, buddy. What did you miss? You missed the fight in the castle as they were exploring, Madame, what the fuck is her name? Polly's castle. As they were exploring the castle, there was a fight. You missed it. That's it. Going alright. Just got a lunch break. Good stuff. Good stuff. Where the fuck am I? Orion, Lumion, and Valentine waited for Leia for a few seconds as the tree shook violently. After meeting up with her, they ran to the back of the hill and left before the servants caught up. In less than a minute, Madame Polly stood expressionless beside the ruptured hole at the entrance of the tower, wearing a grayish-blue fluffy dress. The children crawling on the walls quickly accused the outsiders of being barbaric and cruel, calling out for their mother. Madame Polly stood silent. In the forest behind Cordu, Lumion and his companion stopped and looked around. I hear a baby crying. It's really close, Leia said. And can you guys hear it? Lumion was startled and listened carefully, vaguely hearing the sounds of a baby crying. But it wasn't as close as Leia described. It sounded distant. I can hear it a little. Liz, was this? Aw, thanks, Sid. I didn't get you anything. Thanks, buddy. Oh, by the way, have you guys, do you guys celebrate Christmas? I know Christmas is coming up. So y'all doing anything? Spending some time with the family or anything? Or if you celebrate anything other than Christmas, obviously. Well, during the same time frame. Valentine quickly went over to Leia and placed his hand on her head, saying a word in ancient Hermes that Lumion had just learned. Sun. The golden, transparent liquid drops condensed out of thin air and sprinkled over Leia's body. Illusory smoke immediately rose from Leia's body, and her expression alternated between distortion and normalcy. Between her abdomen, finally, her abdomen returned to its original state and stopped squirming. Phew! I narrowly avoided becoming a monster's mother. Luckily, we took care of it in time before it could take root, Leia said. She wore a smile on her face, unfazed by all that had happened. Would you like to purify yourselves with holy water? I worry that you may unknowingly become parents. Yes, Lumion said immediately. But Valentine approached Ryan first, placing his hand on Ryan's head. He uttered in ancient Hermes, Sun. Holy water formed and sprinkled down. Nothing unusual happened to Ryan. I'm ready to... Sounds good, money. Sounds good. No plans for me? Nah, I got no holidays. Oh, that sucks, dude. Some of my friends celebrate Christmas. I celebrate Yalda on December 22nd. I apologize. I don't know what Yalda is either, Dr. Z. Valentine purified himself, and no smoke appeared either. He then walked over to Lumion, placed his hand on the hunter's head, and said, Sun. He repeated as droplets of translucent liquid fell. Lumion felt a sharp pain in his heart, as if snakes were burrowing inside. Each time it moved, Lumion's heart raced or slowed down, causing extreme discomfort. I want a 24 hours. Are you out of your fucking mind? Bitch, what do you think this is? You think I'm Ludwig? Look. Lumion heard the mysterious voice that seemed to come from an infinite distance, but also close by. It wasn't as clear as in his dream, so it prevented him from entering a near-death state. Just as Lumion couldn't take it anymore, Valentine stopped and said, "There's nothing wrong with you either." Lumion breathed a sigh of relief, feeling as though he had been pulled back from the brink of death. At that moment, he roughly understood what had just happened. According to the mysterious lady, he was corrupted by an evil god, and he could only maintain his normal state by relying on the timely seal of that great existence. Accepting the purification water was like a devil embracing holy light, bound to experience problems. In other words, he was an evil god pollutant that needed to be purified. Yes, money, I am that. I don't know about the. I don't think I'm quite deserving of the title the quite yet. In time, perhaps, but not quite yet. Bullseye, how's it going, man? Only one last class tomorrow and then I'm done. Let's go! The origin is pagan, but it changed over time. It's not pagan. Nothing ritual. Oh, cool. Bullseye, how's it going? Sounds good, money. Sounds good. Thankfully, if Valentine had kept going or been a little stronger, I would have exposed my abnormality even with the seal of that great existence. I cannot undergo purification in the future. I won't be able to find someone to exorcise the evil. I am the evil that needs to be exorcised. Upon realizing that his companions had been cleansed and all risks eliminated, Ryan promptly suggested if we make our way to the edge of the village now, we'll reactivate the loop. In the event that Madame Polly discovers the clue and catches up with us, we can attempt to flee and restart the cycle. Ryan added, I am more concerned that if we died once during a cycle, there may be repercussions once the loop is lifted. It is best not to perish at this moment. Understood, Leia said. Observing that the other two companions had arrived at the same conclusion, Valentine nodded. At that moment, Lumion glanced at them and said, You guys go on ahead, I'm going home. Aren't you worried that Madame Polly will come after you? I'm not like you. As soon as I entered the tower, I was attempting to avoid the monster children's gaze. They didn't see me, and the midwife who saw me was killed by you. It seems that even channeling spirits is ineffective. How could Madame Polly have suspected that a powerful infiltration team like yours would have an ordinary person like me? Think about it. Prior to your arrival in Cordu, no one had ever dared to infiltrate the castle. The moment you arrived, someone did. Who would she suspect if not you? If I escape with you, I'll be dragged down with you guys. Everyone was left speechless. This was clearly an operation concocted by Lumion, but why did it appear as though he had nothing to do with it? Were they going to shoulder all the blame? Goodbye! If Madame Polly doesn't dare to confront official Beyonders like you and the cycle doesn't restart, I'll see you at the old tavern tomorrow. Lumion waved his hand and dashed to the edge of the forest. Take care of my cabbages! Once he exited, he became serious again. The explanation he provided for not escaping with them wasn't the only reason. It was more like an excuse. His primary objective was to go home and see Aurora. As soon as Aurora invited Madame Polly for the tea, someone snuck into the castle. They were prime suspects. Lumion had informed his sister that if Madame Polly came to interrogate and silence her, she should sell out the three foreigners and agree to Madame Polly's imprisonment. If she could discover and dangle a valuable secret to delay Madame Polly for a while, preventing her from executing anyone, only by staying alive would there be a chance. Even in a loop, Lumion couldn't afford to die easily. Furthermore, once Madame Polly caught up with Leia and the others, if she emerged victorious, one of Ryan and the other two would trigger the loop and erase the memories. If she lost, what was there to be concerned about? Lumion gritted his teeth and ran home. Upon seeing Aurora standing at the door, unharmed, he breathed a sigh of relief. Is everything okay? They both inquired simultaneously. Aww, such good siblings. I wonder if this plot point will be very relevant. Well, that clearly tells me that it won't be, but thanks. Chapter 69. So what do you guys say we end it here, okay? For the jokes. Damn, I really should have ended at 63 yesterday, so I could have ended on 69 today. In response to his sister's concern, Lumion shook his head and declared, I'm fine. Let's go inside. Upon reaching the stove, he narrated his expedition with the team. Lumion then advised his sister that if Madame Polly was to attack, she must surrender and betray the foreigners without hesitation. Oh, check the art. COI art, I guess? This is so cute! What? Leia? This is so adorable! Valentine? Ryan. This is so cute! What? This is so cute! Oh my god! These are adorable! Look at this! This is so cute. He surveyed his surroundings and, upon considering the phenomena, Lumion believed that the sisters could not defeat Madame Polly. They were not capable of handling, they weren't even capable of handling the midwife. Aurora listened and couldn't help but chuckle. From a logical standpoint, your tactics are indeed the best, but why do I find them peculiar? It's as though I have become the villain in a story. Furthermore, I'm not the principal antagonist, the charismatic kind. What is most important is the consequence, Lumion stressed to his sister. In your own words, one must endure the humiliation, bear the heavy burden, and preserve the useful body and wait for it to prove its worth in the future. Have I taught you too many strange things? Aurora couldn't help but ask. Yes, Lumion answered. Susie has more artwork than COI, man. Oh, it's so cringe. I need more COI art. True. Oh. Alright, I understand. I will not confront Madame Polly until it is the most crucial moment. When Madame Polly noticed the alarm had been triggered and attempted to leave, I didn't stop her. I merely expressed reluctance and conversed with her for an additional minute. Right. Please elaborate on the specifics of her exploration. She seated herself at the dining table and listened intently, just in case Madame Polly were to interrogate her in anger. Lumion pulled out a chair and sat on the opposite side of the dining table and expounded on the accomplishments and battle process they had just been through. As Aurora listened, her expression became peculiar. What's the matter? Lumion asked. There's a portrait of a man in Madame Polly's bedroom and it resembles her. It's suspected that it's her brother? What the fuck am I... Oh, thank God. Whew. Yes, the three foreigners speculated that he might have been a missing member of the Rockford family named Pullet. Lumion recounted Ryan and the other statements, including dandyism and the various number of illegitimate children. According to the three foreigners' investigation, there is no such person as Polly in the Rockford family. Then I'm quite sure my guess is right, Aurora said. What guess? Perhaps Madame Polly is Pullet. What? That's crazy! One's a man, the other's a woman, and Madame Polly has two children. Who's to say she gave birth to her? She gave birth to them herself. Maybe the administrator did for her. And even if they are Madame Polly's children, it doesn't mean anything. In the world of mysticism, anything is possible. Consider this. If Louis Lund can give birth, why can't Pullet become a woman? What in the fuck are we even talking about at this point? I say that, but I obviously know what she's talking about. But it's still funny all the same, because... Maybe? Lumion was still unconvinced. The reason I dare to make such a guess, unlike the foreigners, is because I have heard something. Or rather, witnessed something. Do you remember which pathway neighbors the hunter? Assassin, Lumion said. In our organization, the Curly-Haired Baboons Research Society, there was a man who was fascinated by the idea of assassin and chose that pathway. At a gathering, he confided to us, in a melancholy and troubled air, that the potion an assassin needs to consume after reaching sequence 7 is witch. Oh, cringe. Paulo, how's it going, man? How you doing? Witch? Lumion asked. Yes, witch. In the world of mysticism, witch and warlocks are two entirely different concepts. You used to get them mixed up and call me a witch from time to time. It was quite unsettling. Drinking the witch potion will turn you into a witch. Acting as a witch causes your body to undergo complete transformation, turning you into a woman. Lumion took a deep breath, relieved that the first characteristic he found was that of a hunter. He's like, whew! He's like, I almost, I got really close to danger there, boys, but we're okay. Had he obtained something related to the assassin pathway, he might have very well been lost to it due to his eagerness. What happened to the man who was considering it? Did he drink it? He agonized for a time, but he didn't want to be a woman. But he also didn't want to stay a sequence 7. Eventually, someone persuaded him. Life is short, and I'd give it a try. After that, I met him again. No, he was a her by then. A beautiful and charming woman. In the future, Should you reach Sequence 5 and find yourself unable to obtain the Sequence 4 materials for the Hunter pathway, you may consider the Demoness pathway. The Assassin pathway is also known as the Demoness pathway. Demoness. Lumion found the name Assassin rather bewildering. The world is fraught with dangers. So Madame Polly is truly Paulette the Casanova? I suspect that Madame Polly transitioned to a woman only after reaching a certain sequence. She had to disappear to avoid discovery by the authorities, and according to the mysterious lady, the power of a deity's boon can be divided into sequences. Her abnormal pathway could also include the ability to promote fertility, manipulate life, and control the undead. Aurora deduced that she could manipulate life and control the undead from Lumion's battle. This was the same performance as Madame Knight, who looked like Madame Polly, had showcased in Paramita with the undead chasing after her. Dr. Z, what have you become? Back in the day, you were the one who used to be most sad when Ramiro made me say the words of the true creator. You have lost your way, Dr. Z. It is truly saddening to see. What's the matter? Lumion asked. At the afternoon tea, Madame Polly said that love is unfathomable. She wished that he would perish for his mistake, but when he faced death, she would save him. I didn't understand it then, but now I wonder if she had a motive by saying that. She saved someone? When? No longer seeking knowledge and wisdom. I know, and I want you to consider what has changed what has changed. Why did we turn away from knowledge? Sag. Suddenly, he halted and stared at Aurora. The siblings remember that Madame Knight had saved them by distracting the undead. But that was last cycle, Lumion was about to say, but he couldn't. He and Aurora exchanged a look and realized their eyes were filled with dread. If Madame Polly was referring to that incident, it meant that she remembered from last loops as well. But that's impossible. No, let's assume that's true. It's better to overestimate your enemy than underestimate them. Big Sis, considering that Madame Polly had been a man, did she fall in love with you? I didn't do anything. You were the one who spied on Louis Lund giving birth. Polly is infatuated with you. Perhaps she believes that you instigated me, Lumion said. I don't usually associate with her, but I once did bring some people to see her having an affair with the Padre, and she teased me for it. You, on the other hand, discuss literature and trends with her, even go to her house to borrow a pony. Then why was she trying to set me up with some awful men? Maybe she's trying to discourage your interest in men and lead you to her. What the fuck have you been reading? Aurora asked. Not only could Lumion provide a rational answer, but he did it in a forceful verve. Your novels, you wrote something similar in one, I recall. That's so. It's been a while, but Madame Polly hasn't come for us, and the cycle hasn't restarted. Perhaps she doesn't want to kill the foreigners. If an investigator sent by the officials were to be killed, it would cause great trouble. And she doesn't suspect me, so she doesn't suspect you. I don't even feel like eating dinner, Aurora said. What if we go to the castle? Lumion said. Is the perpetrator returning to the scene of the crime? Aurora laughed. I want to investigate the castle, and Madame Polly doesn't suspect me, so I can go unnoticed. Oh, and I haven't picked any tulips yet. I can ask for a few under the guise of making fragrances. Since Aurora and Madame Polly appeared to be friends, there was no issue with that. We can try, but I don't know if she'll cause any trouble, Aurora thought. Yes, if you don't return in a half hour, I'll go to the edge of the village and trigger the cycle again. Okay, Lumion agreed. As Lumion arrived at the administrator's castle once again, the sun had already set behind the mountains, painting the horizon with a red hue. Passing through the garden, Lumion reached the main entrance and approached the male servant. You know, I really think that COI could have gone in a completely different direction and still been really good. I think if they were able to escape the loop, and then they said like, hey, we're gonna, like, we want to go back because like we want to save like our friends or like people we care about, but let's get stronger. So like, you know, Aurora becomes like a sequence 5 or something, and Lumion becomes like a sequence 6 or 7 or whatever. They're like, okay, we should be able to handle it now. And then they go back and they just find the entire city's like fucking devastated, like what happened to Bansi Harbor. And they're like, oh shit, like we just caused everyone to die because we were out for ourselves. I feel like that also could have been like a different direction that would have also been pretty dope. Hmm. As Lumion arrived at the administrator's castle again, the sun had already set behind the mountain, painting the horizon red. Passing through the garden, Lumion reached the open entrance and approached the male servant. Excuse me, my big sis Aurora is creating a fragrance. May I please borrow some tulips from Madame Polly? A male servant responded, I will inquire with the Madame. How do we know that won't happen? Well, the reason we know that won't happen, Money, is they can't leave the cycle, right? Because as soon as they leave the, whatever, the range of the loop or whatever, it resets. So they can't do that. But like, if that weren't the case, then like if someone figured out that they were in a loop, they could just leave. That would have been cool. Because then like by the time they come back, they're like, okay, we're strong enough and we should be able to handle it now. They come back and it's just fucking devastated. They're like, shit. Madame says you may go to the garden. You may go to the garden. Garden? What the fuck is happening to me? You may go to the garden to pluck them. She really doesn't suspect. Lumion then entered to the garden. Entered and headed to the garden to search for tulips. It was there that Lumion spotted a flower and a lady's maid pruning a flower tree. As he sized her up, his gaze froze. The lady maid was in her 40s, with brown hair, brown eyes, and a pretty face devoid of wrinkles. None other than the midwife who had fought Valentine and the others and was killed by Ryan. Yet here she stood, unscathed. Oh shit. Oh shit. Ryan, you fucked up, brother. Oh shit. The instant he laid his eyes on the midwife, Lumion's heart froze. She's alive? But I saw Ryan kill her. Lumion vividly remembered how the midwife had been reduced to ash. This must be a freaking ghost. No, I hear her breathing. If it weren't for the midwife not looking at him, preoccupied with the trimming of branches, he would have reacted to the stress. The tiny tree branches that grew haphazardly fell to the ground. The snapping stunned Lumion out of his daze. He subconsciously took a step forward, walking towards the place where the tulips bloomed. Oh, by the way, I officially got my motorcycle license today. So, like, obviously, so if you know that I had my, like, course a while back, but I officially got my license upgraded today. Dope shit. The midwife didn't stop him or even turn around. Lumion couldn't help but steal another glance at her. She was focused on pruning the branches. The shadows cast by the tree and trees made her profile look dark and gloomy. Not daring to linger, Lumion plucked a few tulips and left the castle. Okay, thanks, Plague. That's interesting way to say congratulations. I appreciate that. Thanks, buddy. Um, if you do, can I I don't know if they take requests like that money. I don't know if they like I don't know if you can just go to the hospital and be like, "Hey, like if I die, can you mail my organ to like the States?" Like I don't think that's quite how that works. Don't drink and drive? I would never do that. That's so unsafe. Who would do that? The risk to reward ratio is so cooked. Don't do that, guys. Um his heart was pounding even when he returned to the village. After calming down, Lumion walked to Raymond Gregg's house, but it was still too early for Aurora to trigger the cycle. It was also a two-story building. You are physician? Hold on. You opted out of organ donation? No. I'm like, I have it so that they can have everything. I don't. Fuck it. If I'm dead. It was also a two-story building, but compared to Lumion and Aurora's house, it was clearly older and more dilapidated. At that moment, the Greg's door was open, allowing one to see the stove on the left and the table on the right. Lumion recalled that the wooden barrels were used for storage. There were two simple wooden beds in the space they isolated. Lumion didn't knock and walked straight into Raymond Gregg's house as usual. Raymond's elder and younger sister were helping their mother prepare for dinner. Raymond's father, Pierre Gregg, was sitting on the chair at the wooden table. I heard that Raymond is missing. Yeah, most people, like, I don't, like, if I'm dead, I don't need them. So if they can help someone else, why would I not? Like, at that point, like, the question is, like, hey, at no cost to myself would I help someone. Unless you have some, like, religious beliefs that, don't coincide with it or something. Like, I don't understand, like... If that's not the case, then, like, what's the downside? Like, I don't get it. I'm fucking dead, brother. I got no use for him. Pierre Gregg had already inquired and knew that Lumion was wait, no, hold on. Lumion did knock and walked to the Gregg's house. Raymond's elder and younger sister were helping their mother prepare dinner. Raymond's father was sitting on the chair, drinking wine. I heard that Raymond is missing, Lumion asked. Pierre Gregg had seemed to have aged significantly. The wrinkles on his face became even more pronounced. He looked up at Lumion and said, "You don't know?" "I've been busy with my own matters. I hadn't seen Raymond in days," Lumion said. Pierre knew that Pierre had already asked around and knew Lumion was telling the truth, or he would have suspected this rascal had instigated Raymond running away from home. 2 afternoons ago, they said it was the 29th. Raymond didn't return after he left. We've been looking for him. His brothers are still out. Do you know where he's gone? He usually says that he doesn't want to learn shepherding, but he doesn't have much money on him. It's impossible for him to leave on his own. Did he leave anything behind? As he spoke, he walked naturally to the wooden barrels at the back of the first floor and passed through them to reach Raymond's bed. The bed was simple, as if pieced together with a few planks of wood. However, the grayish-blue bedsheets, the pillow stuffed with straw, and the quilt with traces of mending were clean, evident they were often washed. This was because Aurora loved cleanliness and didn't allow lice to peer at home or on her body. Even Lumion had developed this habit. Therefore, when he interacted with his playmates, he would urge them to maintain personal hygiene. He didn't allow those to be dirty and live with lice and fleas all day. If Raymond and the others slacked off at some point and were discovered to have lice, they would be pranked. They might even be pushed into the river to wash. I I don't think that's true, Plague. I mean, again, it's possible. I understand that it's theoretically possible, but like, you just have to have like extraordinarily dog shit fucking doctors. Like at that point, like we're going. At that point, like the logic is like, hey, my doctor doesn't believe in the Hippocratic oath they took at all, and like they want you to die. It's like I can't, like I logically just can't go through life thinking like everyone's out to get me, right? Because like at that point, like I don't know what I would do. Like, because at that point, like, oh, like I can't drive because like what if the guy, you know, who's driving on the other side like wants to kill me and just like turns into my lane? Like I can't drive. Okay. Well, like I can't drink water because like what if the guy at the purification plant like just wants to kill people and doesn't, like, you know, remove like bad shit from the water? Like at that, like I can't do anything at that point. I'm cooked. So like at some point you have to have some level of faith in like the overarching systems, right? Um, you live in Canada. I do live in Canada. You literally have, what is MAID? I don't know what that is. And that's an acronym of some kind. Oh, euthanasia. Oh, I see. Oh, sorry, yeah, but euthanasia is not the same. No, money. He's not talking about a maid. I think he's talking about maid, like medical assistance in dying. Um, MX, how's it going, man? Don't even know if you're at Orchid or the only check. Yeah, exactly. Well, after work I'll catch the VOD. Alright, no worries, Gil. Have a good night, buddy. Or not a night. Not a good night. It's probably fucking midday for you. I apologize. Have a good day. By the way, can I say I fucking love this OST from Persona 5. This shit is so good. This singer is like so goated. What in the fuck? Oh, to have such control over your vocal cords is so goated behavior. What the fuck? After a few years of oppression, Raymond habitually helped clean up the environment when he returned home. We didn't find any message, Pierre said. Lumion sat by Raymond's bed and reached under his pillow. He found two items, a cracked, dark red fountain pen and an exercise book filled with the handwriting. Raymond was hungry for knowledge, but he had little chance to receive an education. In Roselle's time, villages like Cordoue had mandatory township schools housed in the same building as the administrator office. The building also contained an army recruitment center, a physical examination committee, and other institutions. But ultimately, there were only a few staff members. I do love everything about Persona 5, this is kind of true. In recent decades, many villages had lost their schools. The church provided Sunday schools for larger populations, but Cordoue had to rely on educated elders to teach the children sporadically. Over time, many young children had become illiterate yet again. When Lumion was in a good mood, he would claim he needed money for drinks, so he sold his old fountain pens and workbooks to Raymond, Ava, and the others cheaply. Raymond took every lesson as seriously as he did combat training and helped shepherds make cheese in the mountains to earn money. He was determined to change his fate. Still hasn't played Royal, I have not. This is also true. But yeah, Plague, to your point, euthanasia and just killing someone who, or letting someone die who has like an organ donor card, are not at all the same. The two are like very different. Um, Lumion removed the found pen and exercise book, staring at them. I asked the Padre. He said these are just simple words that don't form a sentence, Pierre sighed. Lumion flipped through the exercise book, noting how much his handwriting had improved from messy to ugly to something acceptable. Aww. True, there's no message, he agreed, but I wonder if it's a code that can be deciphered. You've heard such things, right? Aurora told it to many children. Did they mention any at home? Yeah, they did. Urdu's villagers often gathered in the kitchen at night for conversation, laughter, and storytelling when they couldn't afford the tavern. First-time guests had to follow Inta's social norms and bring a bottle of wine, even a cheap one. Pierre had heard a similar story from his youngest son. I'll take it back to Aurora for her to examine and see if she can find anything. Okay. Pierre didn't think it was anything valuable, but figured it was worth a shot, right? After leaving the area surrounded by the wooden barrels, Lumion walked to the door and Pierre sat down again. Yes, Dr. Z, I completely believe that in the Lord of the Mysteries verse, people just get good endings, you know? People just get happy endings. True, all the time. Like, no one really dies, you know? Everyone always comes back at the end. Everyone just lives happily ever after, goated. A few steps later, Lumion heard Pierre sigh and mutter, If you didn't want to learn shepherding, he could have just told me. Why did he leave? Our family will be rich soon. You won't need to learn shepherding. Rich? What's this chance for wealth? Pierre didn't look up. Our family horoscope's about to change. Our luck will improve. Who told you this? Lumion asked. Pierre didn't answer. On returning home, Lumion immediately informed his sister that the midwife was alive. Aurora frowned. She's not necessarily a living person. What? Didn't we discuss this before? Madame Polly's pathway may have the power to control undead. She may be a zombie. No, impossible. I saw her without activating my spirit vision. Besides, there was no signs of stitching. Back then, she was diced into many small pieces, and I heard her breathing. But it was a little sluggish. Her expressions were gloomy, and her eyes weren't exactly lively. She looked almost like Naroka, the one I saw on the night of the previous loop, when we took Naroka to enter Paramita. Naroka, whose face was pale and eyes blank. Of course the midwife obviously resembled a living person more. Aurora nodded, a special state that's closer to the undead? Unable to deduce an answer, she gestured for Lumion to say something. Lumion recounted all that had happened in Raymond's father's words in detail. Madame Polly doesn't seem to want to pursue the matter of the castle. Wonder what's holding her back. Also, your discovery proves that a portion of the abnormality in the village is related to her, but it doesn't seem to involve the cycle. What she meant was that Madame Polly's involvement in the abnormality was mainly the fertility, death, soul, and paramita, not the time loop. I think so too, Lumion said. It seems that the person behind the Padre and company is most likely not Madame Polly. The one who spread the news not doing something can affect the horoscope and get good luck. We'll investigate tomorrow and see if we can channel Raymond's spirits tonight. After dinner, Aurora saw that it was about time and began to set up the altar. She was praying to herself, so she placed only one candle, but the candle was replaced by another one made of slumber flowers and other materials. Aurora sanctified a silver dagger and created a wall of spirituality. She then dripped the extract made of night vanilla and moonflowers onto the orange flames, stringing up a misty fog. Seeing that the preparations were complete, Aurora glanced at the workbook on the altar and took a step back. I summon in my name. The spirit lingering in Cordu village, the man named Raymond Gregg, the owner of this exercise book. The orange candle swayed, absorbing the surrounding fog and becoming larger. The light rippled and was dyed a deep blue. Beads of sweat appeared on Aurora's head as she began to borrow the strength of the materials. Amidst the howling winds, a figure emerged above the blue flames. Having already activated his spirit vision, Lumion saw a translucent figure. He had brown hair and eyes, looking rather ordinary. It was Raymond. He was in the village. but Raymond's body was bloated, his face pale, and blood-colored tears dripping from his eyes. What? After their cycle restarted, Raymond had only gone missing and hadn't drowned. So how did his spirit end up like this? That's right, if he hadn't drowned, how could he have been a spirit? That's self-contradictory. Raymond, why did you disappear? Aurora asked. They drowned me. Raymond's expression turned ferocious as he shouted. Viewer, okay, up until now it was great music, okay? It's bad timing, okay? You just came in at a bad time. It's not, oh, poor boy. He did drown. I did kind of jinx him, though. Oof. Listen, how was I supposed to know that they were actually going to drown him? This is bullshit, okay? Okay, fuck you, okay? Don't call Persona music elevator music, you bitch. I love that soundtrack. You're a bitch. Chapter 71. What are we reading to today? What is it, 74? God. That's alright, it's only been like an hour and a half. We're making good timing. They drown him in coffee and curry? I don't... Is there a joke there? I don't get... They? Lumion couldn't hide his surprise at this response. Who are they? Aurora asked. Raymond's face contorted in pain and fury. Pons Benet and his men. They held me down in water. After Ava and the others left the riverbank, Pons Benet and his thugs appeared where Raymond had washed ashore, forcing him back into the water and drowning him as a sacrifice. Lumion pierced together. LeBlanc theme, the coffee. Oh shit! Oh, I see. Oh, I see. The entire Lent celebration had been twisted into a dark ritual. Aurora pressed for more information, but Raymond only repeated the same few phrases, as if it was all that remained of his memory. Damn, we missed the best time for spirit channeling. All we have left is this lingering obsession, Aurora thought. Did they sacrifice you to a special being? What's so special about him? Where is he? This time Aurora was more cautious, not asking for a full name, but only indirect information. She believed that if Raymond's spirit had sensed anything during the sacrifice, it would have left an impression. Raymond hesitated, tears swelling up in his eyes. Underground, beneath the cathedral. What? Aurora couldn't believe her ears. Raymond was implying the secret entity that he had been sacrificed to resided under the cathedral? But that's impossible. It's the 5th epoch. How can a god walk the land? Aurora composed herself, considering that Raymond's spirits retained only a fragment of his obsession and some spirituality. In other words, his testimony might not actually be confirmation of the location beneath the cathedral, but simply a reaction to her prompting. But regardless of whether Raymond's answer was true or a reflection of his obsession, there was something amiss under the cathedral. Aurora could only hope that the secrets hidden there wouldn't prove too horrifying. But she tried asking about other things, but Raymond could only repeat phrases like, "They drowned me," "Pons Benet," and "beneath the cathedral." Seeing nothing else, Aurora ended the spirit channeling and watched as Raymond vanished. What are you thinking about? Aurora waved her hand in front of her brother's eyes because he seemed lost in thought. The corner of Lumion's mouth curled up as he forced a smile. I regret not hitting pawns harder yesterday. He had kneed pawns, causing him considerable pain, but he held back, not wanting to escalate the conflict. He had restrained himself, not crippling him. There'll be a chance, Aurora said. Actually, we've been overlooking something, Lumion nodded. Before Lent, we're not the only ones afraid of escalating. The Padre and his goons are too. They're not ready, and they haven't started the ritual. In other words, if Lumion truly wanted pawns to suffer irreversible harm, the Padre could only feign retribution and avoid action. They would bide their time until Lent. Regardless of whether Lumion offended them or not, once Lent began, everyone in the village would be in their sights. Aurora understood. You can decide how to take revenge. What we need to focus on now is how to survive until the 12th night after the Padre and his cronies gain power. We have two options, Aurora said. We either join forces with the foreigners or find a way to get stronger. If we can confirm that Madame Polly has no connection to the loop and is trapped here like us, we can cooperate with her even. What? Madame Polly was a terrifying, malevolent beyonder. A philosopher from my homeland once said that balance is needed between principal and secondary contradictions. We must unite all possible forces. Is there a reference to a quote? Because I don't know what quote this is. Yes, there are definitely there's something off about the cathedrals underground. It may hold some clues. We must investigate it before Lent, as we may not get another opportunity. From Aurora's knowledge, most of the cathedral in this world had underground chambers. Some stored artifacts, while others served as burial sites for important figures. Alright, Lumion agreed. I'll take the foreigners tomorrow. Why can he only say those few words? Was his spirit not channeled properly? Lumion asked. There's a crucial period for mediumship within an hour of death. After that, the deceased rapidly dissipates, losing their memories. All that remains are some thoughts and emotions they can't let go. In our technical terms, it's called an obsession. When the cycle starts, we'll summon Raymond from the beginning. Does that count as an hour of the death? But wait, why does Raymond remember the cycle? Last cycle. Not only did he recognize the issue after the cycle reset, shouldn't Raymond forget? Aurora was stumped too. She pondered and said, I believe it counts. It's not Lent yet. According to the timeline, Raymond hasn't drowned, so he should know the murderer's identity. But because he lost his body and exists only as a spirit, there'll be some lingering obsessions. In simpler terms, Raymond's state has become unique due to his body loss, retaining a certain amount of memories when the cycle resets, like a glitch. It seems the powers allowing us to loop is very mechanical and rigid. It probably isn't under the original owner's control and operates autonomously, or it would easily do something about Raymond's spirit. In that case, we still have a chance. Influenced by his sister's emotions, Lumion's somber mood lifted a little. The two of them cleaned up the altar and moved to the second floor. Aurora taught Lumion Hermes and Ancient Hermes, word by word. Lumion had already learned some words, so his progression was promising. Under the bright electric sun, Aurora explained the pronunciation and structure of the words to her brother. While he revised, she used musk, cloves, blood, and other materials. As Lumion studied intently, he occasionally glanced at his sister working beside him, feeling as if he had returned to the warm life, free from loops or malevolent gods. Outside the window, the night was tranquil. Lumion woke to find himself in his misty room. As he got out of bed, he walked over to the table and grabbed a pen and paper, and wrote down the Ancient Hermes and Hermes words, but in the wrong order, but correctly labeling them with a number. As Lumion let out a sigh, he looked over to the table. There were 4 items there, 2 grayish-white musk candles made by Aurora, one with Lumion's blood and one without, a bottle of grey amber perfume, and a metal bottle containing tulip powder, and a silver dagger provided by Aurora. The lady really sent them in. Lumion's heart calmed down when he saw the items. Lumion grabbed the item and looked for Aurora's homemade incense, but when he found it, he looked downstairs and placed everything on the dining table. The materials for the ritual were now ready. Before falling asleep, Aurora was worried that Lumion didn't have the symbol to pray for the boon. This would prevent him from burning the items on the table, from burning the items on the replica goatskin to inform the target deity. But since the mysterious lady didn't mention it, there was probably no need. Lumion took a deep breath and exhaled as he looked at the items on the table. Without wasting a moment, he placed one of the grayish-white musk candles with the one with his own blood at the top of the altar, representing the deity. Following the order of God before man, Lumion lit the candle before sparking his spirituality. He wasn't an expert at sanctifying the ritual dagger or creating a wall of spirituality. As Lumion's spirituality flowed out from the tip of the dagger and connected the air around him, he felt a mystical sensation. Soon, the spiritual wall was complete. He cleared his mind using Aurora's homemade incense and cogitation, allowing him to enter a state where he could perform ritualistic magic. With a sizzling sound, Lumion dropped the grey amber perfume of the tulip powder onto the candle representing the deity, and the air was filled with a magical energy pulse. Lumion took a step back and looked at his notebook beside the altar and shouted in ancient Hermes, "Power of inevitability." Goddamn. So since we're praying to them, it means that whoever this whoever this great old one is, it already exists, right? Does that make sense? Like, you can't pray to the Lord of Mysteries before, you know, there is someone in the place of Lord of the Mysteries. It wouldn't point to anyone. But the fact that we can pray here and gain some power means that the circle of inevitability already exists. It's not like you would know. Oh, I haven't read COI. No worries. Merlin, so that means I'm officially ahead of you? That's crazy. I appreciate you popping by, buddy, though. Oh, that's so fucking jokes. COI was mentioned in book 1. Yeah, like the title was mentioned, but we don't know if it exists. Like, we knew of Lord of the Mysteries, but like no one was a Lord of Mysteries until Klein and Amon were fighting for it. You know what I mean? Like, I just mean, like, there are for sure, like, great old ones that don't exist, right? Like, the head of the death pathway, for example, and stuff. Don't exist yet because the Evernight Goddess hasn't reached that state yet. So like praying to, which one would that be? I don't actually know. No, it would be the one that stands above fucking. But like. Eternal Darkness, yeah, like you could pray to the Eternal Darkness, but you wouldn't get a response because no one holds that title yet. As Lumion uttered the words in ancient, the deity, the fool, also didn't exist but did answer prayers. Well, yes, but the title, the fool, was held by someone, right? It was held by Klein at the time. So he was answering prayers in the stead, basically. He was like a quasi fool, being the owner or being the ruler of Sephira Castle. As Lumion uttered the words in ancient Hermes, the light above the altar dimmed ominously. The orange candle flame flickered wildly, as if buffeted by an unseen woman. Yeah, exactly. The interim fool, so to speak, compressing them to the size of a peppercorn. Simultaneously, heat bloomed in his chest and his head spun and his ears buzzed, as if once again on the verge of hearing that terrifying voice. Lumion steadied himself. The corruption within had been sealed by the master of the bluish-black symbol. Even if he delved deep into cogitation, he could only summon the thorn symbol and release a meager aura, unable to harness its true power. Could this ritual bypass the seal and absorb the boon? Only if the owner of the bluish-black symbol, that great existence, had tacitly granted permission. If George IV had gained the tacit approval of the 7 deities, why is it that he was unable to become a god? Could it be that Mr. Fool didn't agree? God, that is such a hard line, dude. Holy fuck. Remembering the enigmatic lady's self-assured demeanor, Lumion felt a surge of confidence. He didn't suspect that the ritual itself contained a component of asking the Great Presence's approval. As for which part, his knowledge of mysticism was too limited to speculate. Is it possible to upload a 50-hour video? You know your shit's gonna be rendering for like fucking forever, right, Easy? Theoretically, yes, I do believe so. Sorry, so the maximum file size you can upload is either 256 gigs or 12 hours, whichever is less. So, so you wouldn't, I don't think you'd be able to put one longer than 12 hours. So so I don't think so. Yeah, you're like fucking video on YouTube. Yeah. Hold on, there's no fucking chance for that. I mean, maybe. I see that there's a fucking 100-hour-long video. I don't know if this is like. Let's see what's up in DaVinci Pro. Cause like, hold on, like, look at this. If I do this, I see, like, it says 100 fucking hours. Or I think it's actually fucking lying to you. Hold on, is that 4 hours? Oh no, no, that makes sense, because that'd be 4 days, 3 hours, 59 minutes. No, that makes sense. That'd be about just 4 days, 24. Yeah, that makes sense. So I mean, maybe it's doable. I don't know. By the way, I'm free this weekend. Yeah, that should be okay. Yeah, this weekend should be good, Easy. Yeah, I don't know if that's possible, but give it a shot. I don't know. $200 hours. I mean, maybe it's doable. What the fuck is this? 8 days. What the fuck? Oh my god. Mom, I'll go to sleep after watching just one video. Fucking 8 days long. Wiz, when will next stream be? It'll be tomorrow afternoon, Dr. Z. So, 20, I don't know, 7 hours from now. All right, I'll talk to you this weekend, Easy. Yeah, 27, 28 hours, something like this. 29, maybe, I don't know. No, it should be around the time you normally wake up, because it'll be a night stream. Remembering the enigmatic lady's self-assured demeanor, Lumion felt a surge of confidence. He even suspected that the ritual contained a component of seeking the Great Presence's approval. As for which part, his knowledge of mysticism was too limited to speculate. Alright, good night, Dr. Z! In the throes of the ritual, Lumion dared not delay. With a focused mind, he began reciting. You were the you were the past, the present, and the future. You were the cause, the effect, and the process. These words resonated with the altar, and the floor and the artifact seemed to writhe, as if an innumerable number of bizarre entities. A black wind materialized out of nowhere, encircling Lumion. Hardest honorific name? Hard disagree. I gotta give that to the Dominator of the Spirit World. That is so hard. Excuse me. Or it's not even that. There's probably other ones that are also hard as fuck too. The whatever. How many good? Your Excellence. Supernova Dominator. Goddamn. You want to? I don't think there are harder. Yeah, like that was pretty fucking cool. The black wind materialized out of nowhere, encircling Lumion. The flame candle, previously shrunk to the size of a peppercorn size, swelled. Lumion heard the voice that had always pushed him to the edge of death once more, but at some point, a faint grey fog had emerged from the altar, coalescing around him. The sensation left him suspended between deep cogitation and witnessing the Noodle Man's dance. He wasn't on the edge of death, but wasn't exactly comfortable either. He felt like severe tinnitus, dizziness, nauseousness, and agitation. Barely maintaining control, he continued, I implore you. I beseech your benediction. I plead with you to grant me the power of dancer. Tulip, an herb that belongs to inevitability. Please pass your powers to my incantation. Grey amber, a herb that belongs to inevitability. Please pass your powers to my incantation. As the ritual progressed, Lumion's tinnitus and dizziness intensified, as if countless maggots writhed beneath his skin. Maggots? Excuse me? Finally, he completed the incantation, and almost instantly, the silver-black flame condensed, transforming into a pillar of light. The silver-black phantom liquid poured forth, swiftly enveloping Lumion, rendering him sinister and fearsome. It felt as if his skin was pierced by 1,000 needles, his skin and ligaments torn asunder. Lumion was consumed by excruciating pain, his mind teetering on the edge of madness, his blood vessels seared as if he had been incinerated. This torment far exceeded the near-death state induced by cogitation. All he could do was clench his teeth and endure, desperately clinging to his fraying sanity. Amid the tempestuous onslaught, he was adrift. He was an enigma. At last, the agonizing pain abated, and Lumion felt as if he had been unburdened. He swiftly collected his thoughts and looked up. The candle had returned to its original size, but retained its silver and black hues. Dude, you're telling me this guy's gonna have the strength of a hunter, but like the flexibility of a dancer? He's gonna be just like doing the craziest shit. Wonder how helpful it'll be? Yeah, like, imagine, like, you go to fight Lumion and he goes, domain expansion, dance revolution. Show me your moves, motherfucker. And he's like, hey, cut. Regaining his senses, Lumion took 2 steps forward and snuffed out the candles. Next, representing himself. Next, the candle representing the deity. He meticulously followed the procedure, successfully completing it step by step. As he dissolved the wall of spirituality, he felt drained and his body felt sore. Before long, the dining table was cleared and Lumion began to assess his condition and discovered a wealth of knowledge had materialized. 3 material parts. First, it involved harnessing the power of dance, rhythm, and spirituality to tap into the force of nature and communicate with the unknown entities, the essence of being a dancer. With this knowledge, Lumion could not only beseech inevitability, but also create new sacrificial dances tailored to various situations to appease other beings. The second and third were applications of the first. What Lumion desired most was the enigmatic dance performed by the Noodle Man. The knowledge was indirectly implanted into his mind, enabling him to comprehend it instantly. All that remained was to practice. With this arcane sacrificial dance, Lumion could activate the black thorn symbol on his chest while exploring the dream ruins. The third segment involved another bizarre dance. It didn't resemble a traditional sacrificial rite, but rather a blend of sacrifice. By executing this dance, Lumion could attract nearby objects and at the cost of his own blood, bond one of them to himself, thereby gaining one of its abilities or traits. What in the fuck? Of course, Lumion would first need to endure such possessions. Some attachments could inflict significant adverse effects on humans, while others may prove reluctant to depart. Lumion felt it was crucial to understand the summoned entities fully. It would be far too hazardous to experiment without expecting issues. The value of mystical knowledge was apparent in such a situation. Lumion desperately required resources like mysterious creatures illustrated or spirit world creatures illustrated, but even a warlock renowned for their knowledge could not possess such information. Moments later, Lumion stretched and discovered that his flexibility had indeed improved drastically. While not quite on par with the Noodle Man, a mutated monster with reassembled organs, he now surpassed nearly all humans, enabling him to execute the enigmatic dance. Lumion effortlessly kicked backwards, touching the back of his head and nodding. That's right, I can perform many actions that were once impossible. My hunter combat abilities have also greatly improved. Lumion practiced the mysterious dance to familiarize his body with the corresponding movements, aiming to reduce the time needed to complete the routine. Dude, I feel like... Or clown movement? I would take clown, I think. But dude, I was just thinking, like, imagine if you could do, like, hunter and seer side by side. You gain the physical stats of a hunter and you're like, hey motherfucker, you want to do close combat? I got no issues. But then equally, like, you can, if you just stay back a little bit, you can prepare traps, you can analyze things, you can do divinations, like, you become fucking godlike. Now, I'm gonna guess that you probably can't do the pathways that are, like, not from the you can do, like, one from the cosmos and one from Earth or whatever, but not two from whatever, probably some fucking weird, thing like that. But if you could, that'd be so goated. Holy shit. The perfect Beyonder. Because, like, you've got mysticism and physical stats, and you're like, alright, bitch, run this fade whenever. I mean, there are way better combos. Please. Floor's all yours. I mean, don't give me another one from the fucking cosmos that I don't know about, obviously, because I don't know about them. But I feel like that'd be so goated. Wouldn't warrior just be better? I don't think so, because a warrior is, like, much slower and, like, heavy hitting, but, like, you know, very armored and stuff. Whereas, like, a seer and a hunter are, like, much more agile and mobile, and I feel like those would complement each other. Whereas the slowness of a warrior and the, like, agility sort of aspect of a seer would, or if a clown rather, would kind of interfere with each other. I don't mean, like, slow objectively, I mean, like, relative, because they're, like, very armored down and stuff. Lumion practiced the mysterious dance to familiarize his body with the corresponding movements, aiming to reduce the time needed to complete the routine. Sometimes his movements were forceful and resonant, as if in combat, while other times they were gentle and unhurried. yet always rhythmic. As Lumion danced, the spiritual energy around him radiated. The armor doesn't weigh anything. There's no fucking way that's possible. What are we talking about? Merging with the ambient natural forces, gradually his thoughts concentrated and his mind quieted. This allowed him to perceive various phenomena around him. Simultaneously, he seemed to connect with the unseen power within. His chest felt warm once again, and a faint, horrifying voice echoed. Lumion ceased dancing, unfastened his clothing, and inspected his chest. The black thorn symbol re-emerged, accompanied by the bluish-black one. Lumion's thoughts briefly scattered, but returned to normal quickly. He had achieved the desired effect perfectly. He then calculated its duration. It lasted approximately 1 minute. Lumion fastened his clothes and prepared to do another dance. It was crazy and warped, and couldn't describe it perfectly, yet as he danced, his spirituality spread out again, blending with the natural forces. In the last third of the dance, he sensed something approach. 3 figures appeared on the first floor window. They were blurry and transparent. Lumion recognized them as the Skinless Monster, the Shotgun Monster, and the Mouth Orifice Monster. He muttered in amusement, "Is this a victim's complaints meeting?" I may not have finished the video, but I did write the Twilight Chance. He's like, it may not have been put out, but I did my research, okay? Lumion could make one of the monsters attached to him and borrow their abilities by taking out a spiritual silver dagger and making a cut on his body. He craved the Mouth Orifice's invisibility, but resisted the urge, lest something happen while allowing a monster he murdered to possess him. As Lumion danced the last few moves, he heard weak and soft voices. It sounded like many people communicating, but it was unclear where the voices came from. Lumion was only semi-literate in the field of mysticism and couldn't identify the source of soft sounds he had heard. He had no choice but to give up, as if it wasn't more terrifying than the corruption itself. After the sounds subsided, and after finishing off the mysterious dance, Lumion communicated that the dancer had enhanced his spirituality. Although he knew it was most likely inferior to Sequence 9's who excelled in spirituality, he had escaped the shackles of being a hunter. The shortcomings had been compensated for. Lumion didn't dwell on what had happened to his body after enduring the dancer's power and the corresponding corruption. He couldn't stop it, so he decided not to think about it. He decided to rest for the night and return to the real world, to wait for the owl. Oh, true. 70. I've been sick for the past week. Sorry to hear that, Plague. Although Plague is a rather fitting name in this scenario. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm just gonna grab water real quick and then we'll go. Finish the last. I will be. Fuck the hell. Okay, Sid, that's called bestiality and we do not condone that here, okay? I want to be really clear. It's disgusting. Oh god. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about the wait. Did you rewatch Daredevil? The original or the new one, Bullseye? I went back to the script. Dawn Armor is without weight. Oh, you think I trust your script? No, thank you, good sir. I'm just kidding. Okay. Lumian's eyes snapped open, his aches gone and his spirituality restored. He woke up and went to the window and yanked the curtains aside. Dawn had yet to break, and the blood-red moon sank in the west while stars still speckled the sky. Instead of on the nearby elm, the large owl with piercing eyes gazed at Lumian. I know, Plague, I'm just fucking with you, dude. Instead of alarm or anger, Lumian smiled. "You're back," he said, almost eagerly. His mannerisms, his tone, and his expression, it all made the target want to punch him. The owl stared for a few seconds before spreading its wings and vanishing. Almost immediately, Aurora emerged from her bedroom. "How'd it go?" Lumian asked. "White paper's on it." Her eyes had darkened, and the trees in them grew larger as they receded. She produced a mercury-plated mirror and set it on Lumian's table. Using a pale white powder, she cast a spell that showed him what she saw. Lumian glimpsed at the owl's silhouette. It circled Cordu at low altitudes, as if trying to shake off pursuers, but White Paper, a creature of the spirit world, was swift and unfazed. After a minute or two, the owl reached the village square. Without hesitation, it dove into the cemetery beside the cathedral. "Is it here again?" Lumian thought inwardly. The last time, the siblings spied on Michael Garouge? I don't know. The lizard that crawled from the Deputy Padre's mouth also wound up in the cemetery, slipping in and out of graves. "You don't think it's like in stories where the cemetery doubles as a villain's lair or a hideout, do you?" Lumian asked. "You know what, life inspires art, right?" "I guess," Lumian thought. At that moment, the owl landed on an unremarkable grave. Like most graves, it featured a deep pit filled with a coffin and covered with soil, with one or two stone slabs laying atop. This was Lumian's guess. At least from the outside, the grave seemed ordinary. The owl settled on the slab, sealing the grave. With White Paper's aid, Aurora and Lumian uncovered suspicious traces. The tombstone was blank, and the stone slab, which should have been dirty and overgrown, was clean, as if recently tended to. "Something's off about this grave," Aurora asked. As she spoke, the slab sealing the grave opened inward like a door, revealing darkness and stone stairs. "Whoa, it's huge," Lumian remarked. Not the average grave he'd pictured, but more like a mausoleum. Nothing good happens in mausoleums. Run away, guys. Nothing good ever happens in mausoleums. He can condense Dawn Armor on his body, which is equivalent to a refined full body armor, but not any noticeable weight, so it won't affect his movements. Alright, goddamn Plague, you know I was fucking with you. You really didn't need to provide me your source, but thanks, man. Urdu has such a place? Aurora had thought 6 years in town taught her everything of this town, but it was growing stranger by the day. As the siblings talked, the owl swooped into the depths of the mausoleum. Underground space was no exaggeration. As White Paper followed, it entered the tomb. About the size of Lumian's kitchen, the chamber held a black coffin at its center. The coffin wasn't closed. The lid leaned against the side, resting on the ground. The owl flew over and perched on the coffin. "The dead warlock?" Lumian asked. Aurora tersely agreed, and instructed White Paper to approach and look inside. Almost immediately, Lumian saw a figure lurking in the corner of the tomb. Before he could tell his sister to check it out, White Paper's gaze fell upon the coffin. With a bang, the mercury mirror in front of them shattered, and Aurora cried out. Lumian spun to face his sister, only to see her eyes shut, blood-streaked tears tracing her cheeks. Without waiting for the semi-literate mysticism student to react, Aurora retrieved a short incense stick from her hidden pocket and lit it. A subtle scent wafted, distant and faint. Aurora's facial expression finally eased a little. "Are you okay?" Lumian asked. "It's not serious. I'll recover." Luckily, White Paper is weak. Sometime. Weakness is an advantage. Huh? In short, I saw something I shouldn't have, but white paper was too weak to handle it. It only caught a fleeting glimpse before suffering severe damage that forced it to retreat. The impact on me also lessened, thankfully. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been so easily able to keep things control. The world is truly perilous, Lumion thought, as he grasped the meaning of seeing what one shouldn't. What did white paper see? I saw a silver-black speck of light. As for things that can cause damage just by looking at them, there are countless possibilities. Perhaps it's an object that reveals godhood, or a high-sequence Beyonder's mythical creature form, or something laden with curses and malice. Mythical creature form? Lumion asked. The essence of the divine pathways to transform Beyonders into deities. At Sequence 4, we can assume our own mythical creature form. Albeit incomplete, for those below Sequence 4, merely witnessing this form inflicts a lot of damage. Saints are that formidable? They're worlds apart from those below Sequence 4. No wonder they're deemed demigods at that sequence, Lumion thought. This is true, but it's also so dogshit that only fucking spectators can actually use it at Sequence 4, or the amount of damage they take is also fucking extreme. It's like, what is even the fucking point? Zan, how's it going? He then said, Aurora, when white paper neared the coffin, I saw a figure in the corner, but I couldn't make out who it was, what they looked like, or who they, or what they were, or what they wore. Another person was there? Aurora asked. Aaron, how's it going, man? How you doing? So the one inside the coffin, the deceased warlock, or the one in the corner? I think it's the one in the coffin, Aurora said. The one in the corner is either a puppet or a subordinate. This means the warlock issue hasn't been resolved. Perhaps this is the root cause. He was pleased that their investigation had finally advanced, but disheartened that merely looking at the warlock's corpse could injure them. How could they possibly return to investigate? Let's not visit the tomb for now. We'll concentrate on the area beneath the cathedral. Perhaps we can uncover vital clues there to help us. Okay, Lumion said. If I recover fully, I will accompany you to the cathedral, Aurora said. Lumion wanted to resist, but consented. At this point, they needed to marshal their strength. With her eyes closed, Aurora said, Your ritual seems to have succeeded. How do you feel? Lumion recounted the entire ritual process and his gains. But he omitted the precise feeling of the being. I nearly lost control when I received the boon, but it stabilized. My body underwent no abnormal changes. Perhaps it's due to my low sequence. The dance that summons abnormal creatures around and allows one to be possessed by them is intriguing. It reminds me of a legendary ability from our homeland, the Spiritual Boxer? Like? Spiritual Boxer. A trickster uses his martial arts to swindle villagers by pretending to be possessed by angry gods. However, when the villagers are later threatened by bandits, he uses the same skills for good. What the fuck is this? What the fuck? Aurora laughed and replied, It entails requesting partial possession from demigod-level creatures to utilize their combat prowess, Aurora laughed. That would require an incredibly robust body, soul, and mind, right? Help me back to my room. I need to rest, Aurora said. What I find odd about that ritual is that I extracted a bit of power from the seal without the bluish-black symbol's owner's consent. Could it be that he has been watching me the entire time? But that's impossible. Why does he have so much time? Aurora mulled it over for a moment. You mentioned that the mysterious woman's description of that honorific name was vague and inaccurate to avoid drawing the attention of the being. Could it be that the black thorns and the bluish-black symbols have some kind of shared authority? Maybe they both have powers in the fate domain. And when you use a vague honorific name, it could refer not only to one person with the black thorn, but also the bluish-black symbol owner. That would make sense, because the seer pathway does have some vague hold on fate, but it's mostly held by the monster pathway. Miss my boy? What? I'm still here. What are you talking about? La lumière. Client. Fuck you too, bro. Under normal circumstances, this doesn't matter much because you have the corresponding symbols and power on the altar. You reacted to the stimulation and the existence discovered by your action, and since you were guided by the mysterious lady, it wasn't easy for you to obtain permission. So when you finish reciting the honorific name and point to the corruption in your body, there won't be any obstacle in extracting some string. The back door has already been opened. What an ingenious ritual design. You has to be an expert at exploiting bugs. I see, Lumion said. An expert at exploiting bugs. Who would be better at that than the Lord of Mysteries? The owner of the bug pathway. Or error pathway, technically. Narcissist, fuck you too, Zen. Alright, boys, I think we'll end it there. Thank you everyone for coming. I'll catch y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow from tomorrow we'll be back to night streams, obviously, for tomorrow and Friday, because it's Wednesday tomorrow. Because it's Thursday tomorrow. So Thursday, Friday afternoon streams, Saturday, Sunday back to morning streams, and then back to afternoon streams afterwards. Alright guys. You're supposed to go to 74. Look at the fucking title of the stream, bitch. Don't try to it's me. I have it written down now. Get fucking alright guys, I'll catch y'all later.